So during the pandemic, I decided that I wanted to get back into shape. And so I went down a rabbit hole of different methodologies of working out. And then I stumbled upon Knees Over Toes, which his real name is Ben Patrick. He's a basketball player his entire life, and he had his knee replaced when he was a teenager, and he battled chronic injuries throughout his entire athletic career. What's really interesting about Knees Over Toes is that through strengthening his tendons, ligaments, and underrated muscles, he was able to fix all those problems that he was having from his knees. And not only that, he increased his vertical jump from just 18 inches to 40 inches. You know, when you're hearing this, it sounds like snake oil or an MLM scam. To be honest, I was pretty skeptical as well. So I wanted to try it out because I've had chronic knee pain ever since I was in the military. Who would have thought that rucking heavy ass weights up and down mountains would be bad for your knees? The exercises that are recommended for knees over toes, the tibialis raises, ATG squats, sled pulls, and calf raises. And I've been doing them since the beginning of this year, January-ish. And the thing is, when I began my journey doing knees over toes, I didn't think that I was gonna make a video because I was in disbelief myself and had low expectations. I was like, why would I waste my time making a video about something that doesn't even work? However, doing this routine has been so life-changing that I wanted to make this video praising this methodology. And although I'm Asian, it's the first time in my 30 years of life where I'm able to do the Asian squat fully with the heels touching the ground, and I can stay in this position forever. And that's not something that I was able to do prior to doing knees over toes. And truth be told, we only think about doing these type of exercises when we are injured or going through some type of physical therapy or rehab. But following knees over toes for a while, his philosophy has taught me that prevention is a better medicine. Right? And this mindset is something that I wish I knew when I myself was an athlete, because I played football and lacrosse my entire life, and I was an infantry officer in the United States Army. So my whole life, I was taught through formal training to never extend your knees past your toes, and this idea was flipped upside down because now I know that it's good for you, because avoiding those type of movements weaken your knees even more. Right? So prior to doing this routine, my day-to-day knee pain has been about a 7 out of 10. So going up a flight of stairs, sitting cross-legged on the floor, etc., anything, it would be around 7 to 8 on a pain scale. And if I had to pick something off the floor like the dog leash, I would always bend at the waist to avoid bending my knees to get down. So being 30 years old, I knew I had to do something about this now, because by the time I turn 40 or 50, my knee pain is probably gonna get worse, and my mobility and flexibility is probably gonna get worse as well. So doing this routine day in and day out, 2 months in, it's scaled back to a 3 out of 10 pain scale, right? So 60 days is where I really started to see the tangible benefits, like less knee pain, improved flexibility, and more range of motion from my knees. And 6 months in, which is where I'm at right now, my knee pain is virtually non-existent, which is so bizarre because since I was 18 or 19 years old, I've always walked around with knee pain. But don't get me wrong, sometimes the knees do feel a little sore after a solid sled pull workout, but I think that's to be expected, right? If you're gonna work out, I think your body will feel a little sore, but not painful. That's the key difference. And talking about flexibility, right, and how that has improved, I'm actually able to touch my toes when I stretch on the floor now, which is something that I haven't been able to do since I was in elementary school. So that is also pretty crazy. And the best part about the knees over toes training philosophy is that it's safe for all levels, ages, and experiences, because every exercise that I'm showing on the screen can be scaled to go further. So if it's too easy for you, you can go faster, heavier, or longer. Another point that I want to make is that when I was younger, like in high school going through physical fitness training, or in college getting certified for physical conditioning, I was formally taught about focusing on the major muscle groups, but we never really paid attention to strengthening the tendons, ligaments, and joints. So So that's a little weird, right? And currently I don't have an injury, which sounds weird because I'm doing injury rehab type of exercises. You are correct, Karen. But the other day, I took a wrong step down the stairs and I rolled my ankle pretty badly. Yeah, I was scared. I was like, oh my goodness. Because typically, if I roll my ankle, I am out of commission for a solid week, having to have an ankle brace and sometimes having crutches, right? But I kid you not, when I rolled my ankle the other day, it went back without a sprain. And I truly believe it's because my ankle mobility and ankle strength and doing these type of exercises allowed my body to be able to better absorb that type of hypertension and allowed me to just go about my day. So I'm sold. And if this sounds too good to be true, well, I'll be honest, I was skeptical at first as well, so I don't blame you. It's one of those things where you just gotta try it out yourself and then you'll be praising it as well. So similar to breath work, doing a knees over toes exercises is something that I'm gonna continue to do day in and day out. And an important note that I wanna make is that it was not my main source of physical fitness or exercise. Rather, I try to attach it to the end of a workout or like a supplementary thing on my rest days. But anyways, that about wraps up my experience of doing knees over toes for 6 months. I'm sold, I love it. I think it's one of the greatest ideas that anyone can do, whether you're an athlete or not. I just think that it's a good idea to prevent injuries from happening in the first place by strengthening your knees, your ankles, your shins. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Quick little story before I sign off. When I used to live in Korea, Koreans do tend to eat their meals sitting on a chair at a table. But sometimes in a more traditional setting, they sit on the floor. But because my knees were so bad back then, I could not sit on the floor cross-legged for more than maybe a minute or two because my legs would just go numb. So to go from that to this, like my knees are so strong right now. I say that and then tomorrow I'm gonna tear my ACL, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm in a posture of gratefulness because we live in a day and age where through YouTube and social media, we can find out a wealth of information that can improve and better our bodies. Because I think strengthening your knees should be a foundation for everybody. Everybody includes dogs as well. Even dogs can do backward walking. Guys, I'm just really excited about this stuff. And because of that, I'm super passionate about sharing it with y'all in the hopes that it can genuinely help you. I'm not the world's smartest. I don't know everything. I'm just a dumb, hairless ape that goes ooga ooga that just happens to look Korean. I think what I'm saying is right, but I could totally look back in 5 years and say what an idiot I was. But that's the journey of life. You live, you learn, you grow, you down an entire box of glazed donuts in one sitting. The message of this video moves me, so I hope that it can move you as well. At least from the couch to the bathroom, to let out the fart that you've been holding while watching this video.